toppings, and melty mozzarella cheese. It's the tradition that Nebraskans have come to love. From game day to every day, Valentino's. Taste the tradition.
Get rid of pesky critters once and for all with Bats to Rats. Their expert team is here to help you reclaim your home. No more sleepless nights caused by crawling critters or flapping wings. Bats to Rats ensures a safe environment for every family member. Check the website at batstorats.com for amazing offers. And if you mention this ad, you'll receive $10 off your initial inspection cost. Call Bats to Rats today at 402-781-8691. That's 402-781-8691. Bats to Rats.
Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. This is the Don't Punt Hour with former Nebraska receiver.
Throwing over the middle, completes the pass. He's got speed to the end zone. Touchdown. 45 yards.
And return specialist.
This time he beats the kicker and one more.
DeMornay Pierson-El.
Not only does the sideline have confidence in Pierson-El, but Pierson-El has confidence in Pierson-El.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome in to Don't Punt Hour. Harrison Arns on the ones and twos. We just wrapped up for the first episode of baseball with Nick Sainert and Austin Orman. Baseball Corners. Apologies, I was blanking on the name of the new show, but that one's going to be taking place every Monday, 6 to 7, to fill in for the gap of what used to be the Tom Chattel Hour. We'll probably bring that one back, but not until we get closer to fall, so you get some baseball content from two of the producers, Nick Sainert, Austin Orman. Like I said, every Monday going forward throughout the summer, 6 to 7, we catch the Baseball Corner with those two. With that being said, though, let's go ahead and bring in the host for this show. As always, DeMornay Pierson-El. The sun's out. It's nice here on a Monday. How's it going?
It's going pretty good, on a lovely Monday.
Absolutely. And I'll tell you what, it's been an awesome sports weekend. I'm going to switch gears here a little bit. I'm going to do something that we don't talk about a whole lot. NHL playoffs. How big of a fan are you when it comes to hockey?
I just like the Capitals. Home team. Like, I wouldn't say I'm a fanatic or anything like that. I mean, I pay attention to know enough. I'm just there so people can fight. That's what I really like.
It's awesome. I haven't done enough watching NHL playoffs. The years go by, I'm watching more and more and more, and this was a great year to really plug into. In particular, I mean, the other day, you had the Colorado Avalanche in Dallas. That went to a Game 7. Unfortunately, my Colorado Avalanche, they pissed it away in a pretty spectacular fashion, but not as bad as the Winnipeg Jets did. Did you catch that game at all with the St. Louis Blues?
A little bit of it. I seen Gruden was at the game.
I got some audio. We're going to play that. Unreal finish you could possibly have in really any sport, and especially a sport like hockey when it comes for it is how hard it is to score a goal. They put up goals in a hurry, force double overtime, and end up winning the entire thing. It was an unreal finish. And your Madison Capitals, they're sitting pretty as who'd you guys? Yeah, the Montreal Canadiens. You guys put them to work pretty easily. 4-1. Capitals moving on. DP's the same way. I know he has the Madison Capitals horn button every time they win the round. He brings that into the studio. But here's the sound bites, just for anybody who missed that Winnipeg Jets versus the St. Louis Blues games. I cut it up so that they're going to cut off abruptly here. But here's the 3 goals. And the first goal happens. It's 3-1, and there's 2 minutes left to play here. And they're able to score their first goal at a minute 55. So here's the reaction and the call of that first goal to make it 3-2.
Moved around by the Jets. Nemesnikov shooting. They score!
So, all right, 3-2. You still got a minute and 55 left. It doesn't feel like great odds especially when you're playing at the pro level, NHL hockey. They get it. 2 seconds left to DeMornay Pierson-El. They pop in this goal.
Under 10 seconds to go. The Jets with an opportunity. Ehlers misfires, passes across the shot. They score! Can you believe it? My goodness!
So there's the setup for you.
Pandemonium
2 seconds left. I have never seen anything like that when it comes to NHL. And again, I haven't watched a ton of NHL, but I can tell right there. You score the first, you're down 3-1. 2 minutes left. St. Louis Blues fans are already thinking about their next series, who's the Dallas Stars, because Avalanche had wrapped up at that point after they lost their lead. I think it was the day before. And before you know it, it's 3-2. But all right, there's 10 seconds to go here. We've held on.
There's more.
2 seconds left. They lose the puck. They shout out to the Jets. They take advantage of it. Goes into an overtime. Nothing happens in that first overtime. It's just a dead still. Then you get into that second overtime. And here's the call. Once again, the Jets figure out a way to get it done.
The boards for Peon. Peon shoots. Score! The Jets win it on the deflection. The Winnipeg Jets will move on.
That hurts. That hurts.
It's one thing to lose that way. It's another thing. You go through an entire overtime, and then you get to the second overtime, and they had some good looks too, and they just couldn't knock them through. I don't know any Winnipeg or St. Louis Blues fans out there, but I'm praying for you today. That has got to be the most. I've seen a lot of tough Bears losses. Nothing compares to what I saw.
That's a pretty ugly way to lose it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's gotta be the equivalent of that 28-3 comeback. Like it has to be.
Yeah, it's not as bad as the 3-1 series where the Cavs came all the way storming back because that was the finals. But like as far as just unexpected playoff losses, to have Game 7 firmly in the hand, and they were St. Louis Blues, they're on the road as well. So once that first one, you're like, maybe there's a chance. But like I said, I've never seen anything like it. So there's our shout out to the NHL. If you think about watching it, there's a little piece of what you might get that it is just totally unpredictable. And they, like I said before, now they're gonna both those teams. The Winnipeg Jets won in 7 games. Dallas Stars also won in 7 games. So neither of those guys are getting much rest. A whole lot of scouting beforehand. They're gonna have to face off here. And like I said, your Capitals in it as well. You got the Maple Leafs, the Panthers, the Vegas Knights, and the Oilers. Those are the last teams. Within you get down to 8 here in the NHL playoffs. Take a stab at it. Who's going to win the Stanley Cup? And we'll move off of hockey.
Honestly, I'm not that equipped to know everybody in it, to know like all of the teams that are in there right now. But I'm an Ovi fan, so I mean, I think the Capitals advanced to the next round. Did they? I think.
Yeah. They won easily. They beat the Canadians.
I'm going to say them. I know they're not going to, but like I said, hometown team. I don't care about too many of the others. All the DMV area teams, are a go.
Yeah, I like that. Boy, I was going to go with the Jets. I just feel terrible about it now. I really do. Give me the Florida Panthers. They make some more noise down there in Florida. They already got a Stanley Cup with them. Maybe they get another one here. That's what I got for the NHL. I just wanted to highlight what an unreal game that was. It's probably the most excited I've been for NHL in a really long time. Especially more I've been paying attention to it. It's great stuff, especially, talking NBA playoffs next year. We get to some of these games, like if you were watching the Rockets, Warriors, not Game 7, but Game 6 in particular, like you could just feel that game going away and it gets really boring at times. Maybe that's your sign. You can switch to NHL playoffs when there's a going on as well. But speaking of the NBA playoffs, we didn't talk about it, I believe, right, with the Nuggets and the Clippers after the fact.
And not after the last game, no.
Okay, give me that game was not at all.
James Harden, like what is there to be said about him? He's an incredible athlete, but I mean, I guess when you need him the most or need him to show up, I mean, he's shown to not do that consistently. I mean, I can understand if it's happened, once or twice here or every 3 years or something like that. This is the consistent part of his game. This is like the regular type situation, and it's sad because they were right then and there and just needed an extra little push, and all you had to do was you don't even got to go for 30. You know what I mean? Get 20, a few more assists. Just show up, be impactful. That game turns out to be different.
Yeah, and that's going to plague his legacy forever. Is that like what he does in games 1 through 4 compared to what he does in games 5 through 7? I mean, he just becomes a shell of himself in ways. And his press conference interview wasn't great either, saying I wasn't really given that role. I'm like, absolutely you were. Like, that is why you're on that court. They're paying you the money. They want you to take over when it deems necessary. Yeah, I don't get that kind of standoff, especially with his track record. It's like, you need to do anything to get that off your back. And that last game, to your point, finishes in the loss to the Clippers, 101-120, and really it was bigger than that. The Clippers were coasting. Jokic did not play the entire fourth quarter, mainly because he had 5 fouls already at the end of the third, but also they never needed it. Like, they were comfortably leading by 30.
And then that's when Yak City. I mean, shoot it.
7 points, 5 rebounds, 13 assists, for whatever that's good for when you only drop 7. There's not a lot going on for him. He shot 25% from the field, 25% from 3. And again, he wasn't taking a lot of shots, but it's also
22 gets you there. Like, I know Jokic is not in the game, but 22 is easy for him. Like, he can get that in his sleep.
2 for 8.
He can get that in a quarter if he really wanted to.
Well, that's the other part. Like, for him going downhill, and he was still good at least drawing free throws, and like he just wasn't even getting any of that. He only had 2 free throws on the night. Good playmaker. Like, he always had that assist ability, but again, it gets to those when you're in those late games, you got to hit the button and take over. I mean, that's when the best players come out, and you just look at his track record, right? From the Thunder to leaving Russell Westbrook and the Thunder to going to the Rockets, and
it's been ever since then.
Well, they got him Chris Paul. I think they even got him Dwight Howard at a point. I can't remember. Maybe. On the Rockets. He doesn't like that. Wants to get away from Daryl Morey. Then he goes to the Brooklyn Nets. New York's better. Barely 3 years there. Somehow,
nothing.
The 76ers to trade Ben Simmons, and you get to go down to Philly. Now you have Joel Embiid and Paul George. That's
nothing.
Now, I don't like it here. You know what? I really, really miss Daryl Morey again. And you're going to go try to figure that out. Then he gets tired of it. Now we're back 2 years with the Clippers. And just nothing to show for it. One of the strangest careers I think I've seen in a while. Because those Rockets years, when he was winning that MVP,
they were good teams.
The best version, I think the best chance James Harden had was with Chris Paul. And like when that thing blew up, it was over. Like they couldn't ever salvage anything after that. What was Russell Westbrook on that Rockets team too with him for a while?
I think later on in the years. I think so. Like a year or two before he left.
Yeah, I mean, you're running out of excuses if you're James Harden. Like there's quite literally nobody else to point the finger to. You've played with just about all the greats, and you've played with the owner that you really wanted to, not once, but twice after you came back to him after being like, you know what, I really appreciated how you just kind of let me operate how I want to operate. He's totally run out of excuses. He's still going to go down as a great player, but a shadow of himself in terms of when we're talking playoffs. Speaking of that, though, Russell Westbrook, a little bit of revenge game for him. That technical, well deserved. You take that technical. You tell them they can take their butts home to give the proper context of what he said. What'd you think about just his game, though, and exactly why I think you and me were high on him joining that Nuggets team? Like, he's not the Russell Westbrook that is egocentric. Like, he just wants to win. He doesn't care what it looks like.
I mean, he can still be vintage Russell and not like affect the game or anything like that. If you can put him in there with Joker, they can do their own type of thing with their styles. He's still a high flying guard. Like, he's not. He's probably, I would say, leaving his prime, but he's still a high flyer. You can put him in there with Jamal Murray. You can put him in there by himself, and the team can still run. So it's like you can get your quality starters or your good guys or your core guys a break, and Russell can kind of do his thing and still keep a solid lead on you. So I mean, he's definitely underrated. I think people appreciate him, just not as much as they should.
Yeah, well, the Clippers are the best example of that. Was not a great game for Chris Dunn. That's who they traded for. That's how they move their hands away from Russell Westbrook. They get Chris Dunn, and that last steal, that was on Chris Dunn. I mean, like, Russell Westbrook robbed that man and said, I'm going to take this and remind the Clippers one more time before they sub me out that you guys made a huge mistake thinking that I'm not valuable anymore, and we much rather take Chris Dunn. I think Dunn's a good player, but in that series, he was turnover prone. He was, whatever you think about Russ and his shooting, and you might even try to say, well, the defense, I mean, the way Dunn was turning the ball over in some of those games, the last one, I think he had 5 and wasn't effective much on offense. Wasn't the energy guy either. It just really bad look for the Clippers and a great look for the Nuggets, in particular Russell Westbrook, he's probably one of the most well-beloved players in the NBA. I don't think I can find anybody that really doesn't like Russell Westbrook. I mean, he's the energy that anybody looks for when they're watching.
It's very contagious.
Yeah. And that's all people want. Like, they watch today's NBA, and not saying it's true, but there's reasons why LeBron's got their hater group, SGA, and even Jokic. He's had a few times where he flops, and that just, some players, you see that and it drives you crazy, or you don't see the hustle out there. Russell Westbrook is the polar opposite. Him,
Completely.
Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, like, they all had that in common. If they're healthy enough, not even
They're
100,
out there.
yes. And that is always just a pleasant sight. So shout out Russell Westbrook and the Denver Nuggets. I didn't really have, I wanted to see the Nuggets advance, but I've talked about some of those Clippers before. Kawhi Leonard is a phenomenal player, and especially with Greg Popovich announcing his retirement, which we'll have to get into in the second segment. Seeing Kawhi Leonard go on a run for one more ring would be nice to see. The clock starting to tick on him as well now. With that being said, we'll talk more NBA on the other side as well, and if we got time for it, we'll dive into an NFL fine that, maybe a little bit of controversy. I want to get your thoughts on it, but don't go anywhere. Don't punt hour. Good morning, Pierson-El, Harrison Arns. We'll talk to you in a bit.
Take control of your health with the DASH scan at Advanced Medical Imaging. The DASH scan is a full-body MRI designed for advanced health screening. This dynamic approach provides exceptionally sharp images across multiple organ systems, helping to detect potential concerns early. With minimal radiation and no invasive procedures, the DASH scan offers a safe, comprehensive look at your health. Plus, results are delivered faster than ever, giving both patients and physicians confidence in screening and diagnosis. Your health is too important to wait. Schedule your DASH scan today at Advanced Medical Imaging. Visit amimaging.com or call 402-484-6677 to learn more.
Select Plumbing and Utility has been serving Lincoln and the surrounding area for 14 years, and they're not slowing down. Select Plumbing and Utility handles all your plumbing needs, from faucets and water heaters to full renovations, and they can even help with your heating and cooling needs. They're also Lincoln's underground experts, repairing and replacing broken underground water and sewer lines since day one. Contact Select Plumbing and Utility today at 402-560-6197, assuring excellence in every situation, opportunity, and challenge. That's 402-560-6197.
You grew up on cereal for breakfast and you graduated into drinking coffee at some point as an adult. Now there's a place in Lincoln where you can stay caffeinated but eat like you used to. Control Coffee and Cereal Bar brings Saturday morning vibes to every day with locally roasted specialty coffees, Lotus energy drinks, and tons of breakfast cereals with toppings. And did we mention they have video games to play while you're there too? Control Coffee and Cereal Bar open 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday and 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. on the weekends at 15th and Pine Lake.
Midwest Bank is now hiring in Lincoln. They have multiple banking positions open and are looking for dynamic individuals passionate about helping others and building relationships. With a family-friendly culture, competitive benefits, and unique perks, Midwest Bank is a great place to start a new career. Apply today at midwest.bank. Midwest Bank is an equal opportunity employer, member FDIC.
Why are some people more successful? Is it talent and determination, or did they recognize an opportunity? Discover a career that lets you help families reach their financial goals as you build lasting professional relationships, one with unlimited income potential. From Modern Woodman, a leading fraternal financial services provider.
I'm Modern Woodman Regional Director Sean Erickson. Call me at 402-483-6515 to learn about career opportunities.
Modern Woodman of America, touching lives, securing futures.
A lot of businesses say they're family focused, but when tough situations in life arise, the business wants anything but your best interests. James Enterprise Incorporated is hiring, and they will always treat their employees like family, just as they do their customers. James Enterprise Incorporated is hiring Class A and B CDL drivers, a shop tech, and a diesel mechanic. If you're looking for a career with a company that goes above and beyond to value you and your family, apply today at jamesenterpriseinc.com or call 402-432-6740.
Step into healing at Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery. Our team of top-notch medical professionals turns pain into progress with state-of-the-art treatments and compassionate care. Visit prairieortho.com and discover the difference in quality orthopedic and plastic surgery services tailored to your unique needs. Your health matters, and Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery is dedicated to helping you thrive. Reach your full potential. Embrace a better tomorrow with Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
At Valentino's, we're on a mission for tradition. On every slice, for every bite. Golden baked crust, cooked to perfection every time. Savory sweet sauce that's made from our own secret recipe. Loaded with the perfect amount of fresh toppings and melty mozzarella cheese. It's the tradition that Nebraskans have come to love. From game day to every day. Valentino's. Taste the tradition.
Get rid of pesky critters once and for all with Bats to Rats. Their expert team is here to help you reclaim your home. No more sleepless nights caused by crawling critters or flapping wings. Bats to Rats ensures a safe environment for every family member. Check the website at batstorats.com for amazing offers. And if you mention this ad, you'll receive $10 off your initial inspection cost. Call Bats to Rats today at 402-781-8691. That's 402-781-8691. Bats to Rats.
This is the Don't Punt Hour on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here is your host, DeMornay Pierson-El.
All right, welcome back in. Segment number 2, Dump Punt Hour. Good morning, Pierson-El, Harrison Arns, as always, joining you guys. You guys can join in a text line or through any of the streams, as we do got Royals on the brick and mortar. So use the Ticket app or, like I said, these streams. That being said, though, talk a little bit more NBA here before we move on. And I think the first one we got to talk about, Greg Popovich. He retires, was the 3-time Coach of the Year, 5-time NBA champion, most winning coach in NBA history as well.
Put him in the Hall of Fame this summer.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much instant no-brainer. He's got to go. Spent his entire coaching career with the San Antonio Spurs at that pro level, which is always really refreshing when you see a coach that sticks around that long. 29 seasons. Crazy to think that, you know, I got quite a few years left before I can even be alive that long. And he's been coaching that same team 29 seasons. What do you think his best accomplishment is?
Best accomplishment?
Yeah, if there's one that really sticks out to you.
I would say the multiple coaches that have blossomed in female sports and throughout the NBA or college division who were under him, like his coaching tree. Yeah,
he does have probably, if you coach that long, A, you're successful. B, you're going to have a lot of coaches that learn from you. So that's 100% true. He did a lot too. I think he was the first one to bring a woman coach to his staff, and you only. Correct me. Was Hammond was their last name? I think it might have been.
I think it's the A's coach, if I'm not mistaken. I think
you're right on that. Either way,
not the A's, the Aces. Sorry, not the A's. The
Aces. Yeah, not the Athletics, but
sorry, wrong A.
Yeah, we get what you mean though. The Aces. Either way, I mean, he took a lot of steps, you know, outside of himself to move the sport together as a whole, and just the coaching world. You know, you can talk about the 5 champions, his players, like. Think of all the superstars that have come through Greg Popovich, and all of those guys turn out to be really good human beings. We're talking about James Harden before. Maybe that's the one stop he really needed to make. Like spend some time with Greg Popovich.
I don't think San Antonio is enough of a city for him.
Yeah, definitely not.
I mean,
but
all the places he's been have been, you know, big cities outside of OKC. OKC is a mid, you know, mild, smaller city, but Houston,
he was drafted there too.
Houston, I mean, you right there. I mean, you could say, well, they are in Brooklyn now. You could say the Nets, Philly, all big cities. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I don't know if San Antonio makes the cut. I know it's in the top 10 for biggest cities, but not the type of lifestyle he wants.
Yeah, definitely not. It's not the lifestyle. It's interesting. I've never been to San Antonio, but I've heard Charles Barkley talk about it enough to somewhat know what you're getting your hands into and head down to good old San Antonio. But no, just a great coach that, I mean, what would the Spurs be without Greg Popovich? They have notoriety because of what he's done for that organization. Otherwise, they'd be another small market team. They might even have the same fate as like the Charlotte Hornets do. right now, where just have stayed in irrelevance since its entirety, since its origin, really. But they avoided that completely. And again, you talk about the guys like Tim Duncan, Ginobili, Kawhi Leonard,
David Robinson.
Yeah, I mean, just look, that was some really good centers. Robinson, Tim Duncan, and now whoever's lucky enough to get to coach Victor Wembanyama, and who knows what his ceiling is going to be, other than it's going to be much higher than your average NBA player. I get for him to leave. They're at a point where, what more could you ask of him? There's a lot of great players. They got some picks for the future as well. You still got Chris Paul down there. I mean, it's awesome to see, him move on what feels like really good terms. I understand the Spurs were losing, but it was a very much development time. And he was making sure, I think, without those years of Greg Popovich at the end there, we might see a lesser version of Victor Wembanyama. Obviously, that's speculation.
Easily.
Yeah, but anytime you can get with one of the greatest coaches of all time, and you got the supposed face of the league in 5-10 years, whatever you want to say, to be under the tutelage of best head coach in the NBA, certainly until he retired. You could say Spo, but I think it was still Popovich. Shout out to that man. Other note, a little bit trivia for you. Then with his retirement, he was the longest tenured head coach in professional sports. He's gone now. Who is the man that holds that title today? All sports, not just NBA.
Of being in one place?
One place.
That's actively still there?
Yep.
It's not a football coach.
I wouldn't say that. I'll point you in the right direction. NCAA sports don't count. We're not talking college, just pro sports.
Okay. All right. My wheels are turning. My wheels are turning.
It's not that when you really think about it, you're like, oh, of course.
I mean, that's still the active coach there. I mean, I would probably say Andy Reid.
Nope, they got to be active with that same franchise. Any more guesses?
Who's been the coach for a while? That's coaching a team?
Still coaching, yeah. Coaching this upcoming season. They have to be still coaching, and they got to be active on that same team. Never fired, longest tenure.
Yeah, I'm still. You got me there.
Oh, come on. Think north. A little bit northeast.
Harbaugh?
Mike Tomlin. Hired in 2007.
I was close. I was close.
Yeah, that one surprised me because, like, how
long was if
07?
So that's 18 seasons probably for them.
What would that be for? 2000?
I'm gonna say Harbaugh can't be too far. John Harbaugh can't be too far behind with Baltimore. He's got to be right. He's got to be within 3 years.
I want to look at what Harbaugh's at here. But yeah, it was 18 seasons for Mike Tomlin. And for Harbaugh,
it's got to be 16 or 15. How did I didn't get that?
2008. Just the year after.
Pisses me. I was close.
You were really close. John Harbaugh didn't even cross my mind when thinking about that. But yeah, he's right next to him. So
I don't know how I didn't think of Tomlin like that. That's an easy one.
Yeah, so I was a little bit surprised. I want to give you some time for that because I was like, you were when you crossed out football right away. I was like, hold on here.
Because again, I'm thinking of college, and I mean immediately I was like, okay, Bill Belichick, but I was like, okay, he's not no longer there, so can't be that one. Mm-hmm. And then that's why I was like, oh, Andy, and you said, well, he was with 2, so I was like, all right, fine, I'll give you that one.
Yeah, it's so shout out Mike Tomlin. Crazy. Significant jump from 29 seasons. Now we're down to 18, but still.
How long was Pete Carroll? Pete Carroll was, but again, you said same thing. So if he was still in Seattle, I mean, that might, because I think he was 07 as well, if I'm not mistaken, because he left Reggie, but he left USC early, 06, 07.
He got there in 2010, surprisingly. So 3 years after.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. You kind of forget how long Mike Tomlin's really been there.
Yeah.
Just year in, year out since 07.
No losing seasons.
Yeah, which they're making it hard for him. You know, GM's got to help him out a little bit here. It's like lately things have been getting tough for him to maintain that nice at least 500 or above 500 record. This year, you feel a lot better about it, but you're still just kind of wondering what it's all going to look like. But yeah, shout out Mike Tomlin. He's the last one left in terms of the longest tenured head coaches. If he drops, then it goes to Harbaugh. So there's no other 07 guys. It go to that next group of 08, which would be Jim Harbaugh. When it comes to college, I couldn't tell you. There's some guys in there that have been doing it forever. Tom Izzo is going to be one who I couldn't tell you how long he's been coaching, but college is a whole nother level of guys that have been there forever, especially when you start getting D2, D3. Some of those guys just do it their entire careers because
that's it.
Yeah, that's where they got their education from. They like it. They don't want to move. So we're not going to throw the college one in there, just the pro sports. But yes, Mike Tomlin, 18 seasons. He is the last one standing there. And other NFL news, since we're on it, we might as well get into it. The Shedeur Sanders fine, prank call fine. The details on that were the head coach of the Falcons. I think it was his son, correct?
It wasn't a head coach. It was a defensive coordinator.
Okay, so the defensive coordinator's son somehow got the number of Shedeur Sanders when they're going through all this draft contact stuff, and they get slapped with a $100,000 fine. Seem right? You got any problems with it?
It's more so how did the son acquire that access? You know, I understand they're in the same house. I understand you comfortable and everything like that. You know, I mean, was he in the office when he got it? You know, was he at home? Like, you know what I mean? So that's the only concerning part that it's just like, yeah, I get it. It happens every year and everything like that. It's starting to get old and blown out of the water. So, I mean, to keep hearing about it, like I'm just kind of over the situation. So I guess the coach getting fined himself and the team.
250, yeah, I didn't say 250, $250,000 for the team.
So, I mean, I guess that's fair. It's like, I mean, they at least did something. It didn't just, it wasn't just a public apology and on to the next thing. So, I mean, yeah, I guess that's fine.
That's kind of where I land on it. Because
it's like, what more you want them to do? Like, you want them to suspend a kid? You want to suspend a coach? Like, you know what I mean? So it's like, what else, can they do?
Yeah, and they were kind of talking about, well, they didn't do this when Cooper DeJean got prank called. I'm like, they didn't film it. Step one, don't film yourself if you're going to do something like that. Like that's why this one caught the media, is they filmed it. And, Shedeur's already a lightning rod of a player. So that one's really going to go viral and they can't ignore it. So it wasn't just because it's Shedeur, they filmed it. It was viral. They had to address it because this happens a lot. I mean, there's been multiple
every year
that are prank called. So they need to make an example of it somehow for like these coaches. It's like, hey, you might love your boy here, but he really can't be around this stuff because we've seen it before. It might get out one of his friends that, he sees it and he trusts his friend, and then his friend goes ahead and prank calls him. So they had to make an example of it, is where I land. You can argue maybe that's too much of a fine. At the end of the day, I think they're just
like that's like $25 to an organization.
Exactly. Like to me,
defensive coordinators still getting millions. Like that's not. I'm not saying it's chump change. That's still a good piece of money, but to them, it's like, all right, let's get over 500 wins. Let's get over 8. Yeah, let's get over 8 wins or something like that, or have the number 1 defense. All right, I got that back.
Yeah, I mean, it's a drop in the bucket, but it's enough for the media to be like, you will get fined and you're going to have to make an awkward apology about possibly your own son to the entire world. Like, do you really want to do that? Probably not. Make sure you really keep that information locked down, because there are repercussions, even if it's not you putting it out there, that if there's a prank call that happens or a number gets leaked, like, you're going to be held responsible for it. So yeah, at the end of the day, do what you need to make it a message. Like, get a hold of it. Make sure this prank calling thing isn't every NFL draft. Somehow there's always 1 guy, 2 guys that get their number leaked. They'll buy that phone specifically for the draft that nobody else has the number, and they still get the phone call. So that's all I got on that. I'm not bothered by it at all. I think that was probably the right move of the NFL to go ahead and make. Let's talk some Husker football, though. I think we're getting to that point, and this ties in with Michigan football as well, and we'll just go ahead and skip over second break here as we're streaming only. Royals are playing, and we had to start late anyways. Thoughts on just Sharon Moore, excuse me. He finally gets the hammer for the Connor Stallions involvement, suspended for 2 games. That's it. It's just 2 games, and it doesn't catch up with him the year they won the championship, the year after. No, we're talking this upcoming season. It finally caught him. 2 game suspension.
Harbaugh did 3 games.
I can't believe it.
Imposed 3 games. Like, I mean, when you're the favorite, you it has its perks. Michigan is Michigan, Ohio State. I think Bama's kind of fallen from grace a little bit. Georgia, Notre Dame, Oregon starting to climb. You kind of you get the special golden child treatment, and I mean that's just what it is. I definitely think when Michigan is thriving and better, I think it's more blue collar ish. It's better. It's more of an investment. That the NCAA is happy. Their people are a lot more into it. So I mean, 2 years later?
Yeah.
And 5 games between 2 coaches and no fines? Everybody about to cheat.
That's what I'm saying. It's just
if it gets you a championship and 2-game suspension 2 years later.
It makes no sense. Like, to me, the real loser of this is once again the NCAA.
For sure.
Like, who's taking you seriously?
No
like
one.
Jim Harbaugh, the year he gets the 3-game suspension, and then a couple of years down the road.
He didn't even no. Like, he volunteered for that. That's not. He didn't get a 3-game.
Yeah, that's right.
He volunteered for that. Self-discipline. You got 3 non-conference games. You can play with your walk-on quarterback and still win those 3 games.
It's I just
the roll tide guy can go in there with no cleats on and be the quarterback for Michigan, and they can still win those 3 games.
That's Michigan. Sherrod Moore. Just bizarre. the thing that drives me nuts is like how is this many years down the road? We finally got the evidence.
Just 2 games.
2 games.
We acknowledge it was cheating. We're not gonna, remove the championship. Okay. But
those 52 text messages to Connor Stallions, we know you deleted it. Don't worry about it.
No heavy fine, and not at least 3 to 4 games. When you were the person that fell on the sword, or at least pushed the sword.
Definitely. I mean, why do you delete the messages with Connor Stallions and then lie about not deleting them? Unless you had something to do with it. It's just outrageous. It's outrageous how they got off scot-free. But there is a caveat to this, and it does favor Nebraska. This is how I was going to tie this to Nebraska. So it does not count for those non-con games. Actually, I'm not even sure why the first 2 games don't count. But it does not count for the first game versus New Mexico, and it does not count for the second game versus Oklahoma. It starts in the home game versus Central Michigan. He can't be there. But that also means Nebraska gets in the mix. So Michigan at home will not have their head coach.
So your first 2 home games, or are their first 2 home games?
The first one's at home. The game against Oklahoma is on the road.
You might as well just go ahead and suspend them for 4 games.
That's what you would really like. But they did 2, Central Michigan and Nebraska.
Did he pick what 2 he wanted to get suspended from?
Hopefully not, because that just tells you what they think about the University of Nebraska. That there aren't, they'd much rather have their head coach for New Mexico as opposed to Nebraska. So
I mean, you got a freshman quarterback, so for him to kind of get things squared away, you got 2 games to where you need to do this better and everything like that. You'll be more comfortable by the 4th game, and you should be fine. So I mean, I can see it from that perspective.
Yeah, maybe that.
That's crazy. I've never seen them. If somebody's suspended, it's whatever the first couple of games are, and then till it's over. I've never seen them. Oh, we'll give you the first 2, but the next 2, no.
There's not a whole lot of explanation. Like the one that's really stupid, and I'm not saying that this is fake news, but the CBS Sports has the article. Notably, Michigan is not suspending Moore for the first 2 games, which allows him to coach against his alma mater, Oklahoma. Like, if that's the reason, what are we doing? I don't think that's the reason. But just the fact that that's a statement, and there is, as far as I know, I haven't been able to see any rhyme or reason why the first 2 games, unless they're really excited about the game versus Oklahoma, you can sell some tickets because it's his alma mater, so we wouldn't want to take him out of that one. If that's the reasoning, that is beyond silly. I can't tell you why the first 2 games don't count, and why it isn't just a 4-game suspension. Because it is absurd. I've never seen anything like this. I can't think of a situation like it.
You take 2 steps. Oh, he's getting suspended. But he's getting suspended the third and fourth game. Oh, like come on now, they're pulling the rug from under you.
Yeah, I mean, and then the part that's the real kicker, they're still investigating. They still say, we're not done though. We're still investigating.
Ain't nothing gonna come from it.
Like we're 3 years into the investigation.
Y'all forced Jim Harbaugh to leave. Okay, that's still not, and he kind of left before anything got situated.
Mm-hmm.
So that's not a punishment or a banishment. He's not banned. He can still come back and he didn't get like a 2 what's his name? Odell Beckham got banned for I think a year or two for giving Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase a few $100s after the national championship game. He got banned from LSU to not come back. This man got caught cheating and won a national championship and nothing. I mean, he leaves voluntarily with no ban to not come back or anything like that. He's fine and dandy because he's out of the NCAA. Crazy.
Yeah, and then you got Michigan accused the NCAA of grossly overreaching and wildly overcharging the university because they had the 52 level 1 violations, and those were the 52 games involving Michigan opponents that Stallions allegedly scouted. Michigan's like, whoa, we didn't cheat that much, guys. Like but the fact that they're not even denying it, they're just saying you bump those numbers up a little bit is crazy. That's the defense. Like, we're not saying we didn't do it, but you're bumping those numbers. It's like, okay, you're probably hiding those numbers. So somewhere in the middle is where it lies. And that means that it might even be more than 52 because I just can't believe it. And then there's a line of they're still investigating. The NCAA is still investigating the perpetrated sign stealing scheme and has already delivered Michigan a notice of allegations. Michigan Athletic Director Ward Manuel recently said he has not had any conversation with the NCAA about any potential postseason ban. We're just like so far after the fact.
Ohio State got banned for trading memorabilia for tattoos.
Mm-hmm.
For tattoos.
I get that NIL is legal now, but like the rules are the rules. Like they clearly cheated. You can't just do a slap on the wrist and say
no.
Well, the fact that they won the championship and they really haven't had to pay anything for it. And I forgot.
I don't care if you ban them for a year with no post game. All right, fine, that's cool.
Unfortunately, we're just in a state where nothing's going to come of this. Like it is such. They're slapping, hands. No one's really throwing any punches right now. And the NCAA is totally cool with letting their moneymaker Michigan just kind of squeak by with a few nicks and bruises, but they don't want to put them into too much jeopardy because they get that much money. And I was looking at it, the Jim Harbaugh, the 3-game suspension, that was a Big Ten suspension. So it was voluntarily by Jim Harbaugh, but it was also him agreeing with the Big Ten, like, okay, yeah, you guys are coming together. I get it. I'll sit this one out. You guys are right. It wasn't even the NCAA that put that together. That was the Big Ten. So the NCAA really has done nothing. This is the first thing that they've thrown together is the 2-game suspension. The Big Ten at least put 3 down. Once again, it's just. I'd like to come and tell you a story about the NCAA doing awesome. I'm looking. I just haven't seen too many instances of it going super well. So there's Michigan. I'll ask you this, and then we'll get out of here. How much does that really hurt them, knowing that they're going to get those first 2 games with him?
I don't really think it hurts because you got some guys that are coming back, but you got some young guys in right position. So they'll be by the second, third game. It's like, oh, okay, like I got it. Like you understand things. You're a lot more comfortable with stuff and everything like that. And that's not to say, is he still coaching at practice that week? Like, is he just completely gone, or he can practice and just can't go to the game? Like,
it's just game suspensions apparently. Like he can practice, but he can be around.
Man, he can be on the headphones with a coach upstairs. Who's to say he can't buy a ticket to the game and just be happening to be in a box and have a phone downstairs? There's ways around it.
He can be his own Connor Stallions. That'd be a hell of a plot twist. While he's sitting there speaking. I mean, yeah, if there's a team that knows how to work around it, that'd be Michigan. And so keep an eye on his tracker. You might want to put a GPS and just see what his comms look like, see if he's communicating at all. But yeah, I mean, the first 2 games, if the reason they did it was to like make sure Michigan get the horse out in front of the cart before it just falls flat on its face with that rookie quarterback, like it's ridiculous to protect people from a punishment like that. I will say though, I'm excited. Helps Nebraska out. How much? I'm not sure, but definitely, gives another tick into our favor. But Michigan is one of those teams that's good enough. We saw it when Harbaugh wasn't coaching for those 3 games. I mean, that team was still dominant. And again, it's tough to tell, how much Connor Stalions tape that they still have and holding on to. I mean, once you kind of know the information, just because they take the calls and signs away from you, it doesn't mean it's still in the back of your head. Like, you still know what a lot of that information is. So that whole season with the Michigan Wolverines, and I hate harping on these guys all the time, but I just cannot help by just how easily those guys got away with everything. And Connor Stalions he was just this analytical genius. He never cheated, according to Michigan. So that's where we land. Just a 2-game suspension for Sherrone Moore, Central Michigan, but also when they go on the road to face Nebraska. Good morning, Pierson-El. Appreciate the time as always. We got a couple bowlers up next. Don't go anywhere.